Welcome everyone to the L7C podcast pop culture edition. Today we are back talking some pop culture with our pop culture expert, Miss Chelsea Hepburn. Happy New Year!
Yay! How many times can you say pop culture in a sentence?
As many times as I would have to on this podcast.
Because you said it a lot just now. There's at least 4, maybe 3. I don't. Math is hard.
It was the intro.
I know. It was just a lot of pop culture.
I try. So, Chelsea, again, back for 2023. How are you feeling today?
A little under the weather. I have a flu, cold, disease. Not a disease. That sounds bad. But I'm just dying.
That sounds very rough.
Yeah.
As we did start 2023, your other L7C people also know that you started the year saying that this year was going to belong to you on the podcast, and they were very taken aback by that.
I don't understand why.
They were just shocked because you just came out of the woodwork and said that you're going to dominate, and everyone else has already had their episodes this year, and they're just like, oh, Chelsea's serious.
Yeah. Because I'm cool and I just need to put people in their places.
Still no logo.
Still no logo. I do what I want and I live my life.
Fair enough. So
I feel like my logo should just be glitter.
You can make that happen.
Yeah. Ooh, plants. Like a bunch of plants.
You can make glitter plants.
Glitter plants.
There you go.
That's my logo.
Just gotta make it happen. So what are we talking about today?
De-influencing.
Okay. For those who don't know what that is, what is de-influencing?
Well, there's not really like a Dexter's dictionary definition. Say that 3 times fast.
Dexter's dictionary. That's as fast as I'm going.
Well, you forgot definition, so you're already losing. But it's kind of becoming this trend. I think as more people are becoming money conscious in the new year, of just not falling into the habit of seeing everyone online buying things and then you yourself going out and purchasing those items just because somebody said it was great or it worked wonders or you thought it looked cute or whatever the case may be. So it's just becoming a new trend of empowering people to be normal and not go out and spend crazy amounts of money.
What's normal in these days, though?
God only knows. No one's normal. I'm not normal. But I think living within your means is supposedly normal because I don't think a lot of people do that. Like, I can be guilty of going out and spending money and then looking and being like, oh, shouldn't have done that. Should not have done that. So this is the year of low buying for me.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So what causes that? Is it social media? Is it celebrity? Like what causes people to be like, I need to go buy that?
Honestly, I don't think it's as much celebrities. Like if you had asked 2006 Chelsea, it would absolutely be celebrities. If 2006 Chelsea was an adult and had money of her own. But I think it's social media in this time and age. Like you see things on Instagram or TikTok, my favorite social media platform. And you just see people reviewing product after product, or you see their houses and what they're buying to fill their houses, and you're like, oh, that's such a cute little candle holder. I need candle holders. And then you're like, I don't have candles, so then you buy tapered candles. And then the cycle continues, because then you're like, oh, I need matches, but I need a cute thing to put my matches in. And it's just vicious. Not that I've done that.
Oh, not that you've done that.
No.
Just a great example.
Just a really specific, example.
You heard her, guys. She did not do that. Just a great example. Do you think, I guess with social media too, I think from that stuff, more it gets like impacted when it comes to dating, which funny enough, talking about this in the month of Valentine's Day and stuff like that, where
love.
Some people don't date people unless they have certain things and they try and buy those things to impress people and then it doesn't work out. What do you think on that?
I think that's very true. Or like because you're dating, you think you have to go out on dates all the time, and that's not necessarily true. Like, you don't need to go out every single week. Or you go to dinners or do activities that you can't necessarily pay for all at once, so you put it on a card, and then it just adds up after a while because you don't want the other person to know money's a little tight.
It's true. Putting on a facade, and then when you're scrolling through media, I saw
Mhm.
something that's caught waves of a guy, don't know who he is, some influencer saying that if you're 23 and you don't own a Lamborghini, you're a loser.
I drive a Honda Fit, and I'm almost 30, so
That's what they said. There's like money's so easy to come by these days. If you don't have 200,000 and you're not driving a Lambo, you're a loser. That is what he
Oh,
said. And he said that's why girls won't date you, be with you, and all of that.
did Junior say that?
No, it wasn't my brother. It was some guy off of social media, went from the Twitters to the TikTok, and then it made all the way around to like CNBC, Dave Ramsey show, stuff like that.
Jesus. But here's the thing though, that person is probably gonna end up broke or in some scandal, depending on how they got their money. So that's a them issue. My fit's paid for.
But you have all these people saying that stuff, and people who are on social media, young,
Mhm.
impressionable, sometimes even old and gullible. And when you hear that stuff, you're like, oh, I need to get that. Or
Right.
from vain things like, oh, you won't get this type of guy if you're not wearing this type of like dress or whatever. You won't get this type of girl if you're not wearing these type of shoes. And
Oh
people
yeah.
wholeheartedly believe that.
Well, and we've talked about, I think it was the body positivity podcast because I
Hmm.
actually listened to that. I hate the sound of my own voice. So
She hates the sound of her own voice, but you guys like the sound of her own voice because she is listened to, and obviously you listen to her enough because she was in the top 10 last year.
yeah. Um, but one of the things that we talked about was how anytime you go out, like it's an event, so you have to have the right outfit. And we were talking about like the body image behind that. But there's also the cost and the influence of it. Like I'll see outfits all the time on different platforms or even just ads pop up and I'm like, oh, those are cute. I need that. And then it's like, I'm never gonna actually wear this. Like I rotate between the same 4 sweaters, no matter how many sweaters I own. Like I don't need to buy a new shirt just to have it because it's cute. Um, so that's something that's popped up because every single event is an outfit. And to be fair, I am buying an outfit for Taylor Swift for the Eras tour. However, I'm one of the elite. I got tickets not only for me but for other people. So yeah, I am buying an outfit for that. However, I'm going as Reputation Taylor. It's going to be black and sparkly, and I can rewear that at other things. But in general, people are just buying outfits to have a new outfit. Like it doesn't matter what it is. It's going to be, oh, I'm going on a first date, so I need a first date outfit, or oh, it's my year anniversary. I don't know why we keep coming back to love, but like I need a new outfit for that, or oh, I'm meeting coworkers for drinks and they only ever see me in khakis. Like, need a new drink. Or
Need a new drink.
Jesus, I'm on
Wow.
a lot of cold medicine. Let it be known.
Need a new drink.
But need a new outfit. So like there's just mass consumption everywhere. And there's a lot of businesses that make it easy. I mean, you've got Shein, which is a horrible company, but it's cheap, and so people will buy it and they're like, "Oh, it cost me $8 to have this," but how many $8 things are you gonna buy before it ends up to be like $600, you
No,
know?
I agree. I just also think that type of stuff, like when you're trying to buy things you can't afford to keep up in your own mind with people,
Mhm.
also then leads to like depression and anxiety, and then you're digging yourself in a hole that you don't want to dig in, all because you want to buy the newest jeans by so and so.
Yeah, and or you're, like, trying to keep up with your friends when they're like, "Oh, let's go on a trip this weekend," or "Let's get matching bracelets that are X amount of money," or whatever the case may be. Like, you're just being forced to keep up with people, and you might not necessarily be able to afford it in that moment, and saying no is okay, and I'm Oh, but, like, keeping up with friends is an issue, especially if all you do is typically go out to dinner and get drinks all the time, like, that stuff adds up after a while, and you
Have you
have
had
to.
to experience that before?
Yeah, I in this past month, I actually did, like, a no spend month where outside of, like, groceries and
Mhm.
bills, like, I really didn't spend money, and I would only do one thing, like, every so often, so telling people no was really hard. Like, I got a lot of invites like, "Oh, I'm free, like, let's go out to dinner," and being like, "I can't," or passing up on just certain activities, saying, like, "Can't afford it right now, like, sorry." And for, like, the most part, people, I think, got it, but at the same time, then you get FOMO, like, you feel like you're missing out on everything, but I think it's okay to get that once in a while, like.
Agree. You got to know your boundaries, and you
Yeah.
just showed there that you were able to set your boundaries there because you have things that you need to pay that are more important and
Mhm.
saving and all of that.
Yep.
But like you said, you're older, you're more mature. But for like that 18 to 21-year old, especially in college when you're trying to impress people and your friends
Mhm.
aren't helping, how could they like take a step back and say, yeah, I don't need to buy the newest pair of Nikes to fit in with friends?
I th that one's hard because I definitely, like, freshman year of college, got a call from my mom saying my account was overdrawn.
Oh boy.
That was freshman year, though, like, that was several years ago, and at that point, I wasn't working, and truly, I was just trying to keep up with people, and I remember I was in Miami, not like Miami, Florida, but at Miami University, visiting one of my friends, and it's Miami University, I don't think I need to go into more details, but, you're keeping up with everyone,
Mhm.
and yeah, it was overdrawn. Thanks, mom. Um, but I think that was, like, a hard lesson because everyone has to go through it at some point, but even though I was in college, I didn't have to worry about, like, a roof over my head or paying certain bills. It's still, like, that point, you can't do anything fun. Like, you have to manage what you're gonna do until you get more money, whether it be a birthday card or actually working. Um, like, you have to be aware of what's going on and not fall into those pressures because I don't think a lot of people realize how quickly you can dig a hole.
Agreed. Agreed. And then you think that, then as soon as you
Mhm.
get on Instagram, you scroll, you see someone saying, if you buy this shirt, XYZ is going to happen to you. If you buy this bikini,
Yep.
XYZ is going to happen to you. And then you're sitting there and you're like, well, if they have it, I need to get it, especially when you're young.
Yeah, or, like, everyone's going on spring break, why can't I go on spring
Hmm.
break? Or everyone's going out tonight, like, and this person always buys people drinks, so, like, I feel like I need to buy people's drinks, and I see, like, my friends going on vacation every other weekend, so why am I not doing that? Like, it all adds up after a while. And then if you're fortunate enough to have multiple friend groups, you get invited to a lot of things. So learning to say no, like, to different friend groups is also a hard struggle.
Look at you just dropping
Yeah.
gems for the youth and me people older saying
Yeah.
you don't have to spend money to fit in. And if you do, then maybe that's
Mhm.
not the group for you.
Yeah. I'm trying to have a low buy year ultimately.
Oh,
Yeah.
great goals.
It
Great
is it
goals.
is a good goal because I wanna go on, like, trips and do X, Y, and Z and redo the flooring in my house, and that's not gonna pay for itself. Not with the
No,
cost. Not
no,
with this economy.
not with this economy.
So the threat of student loans lingering over my head, giving me major anxiety, man.
Well, you were paying them before. You'll just go back to paying them.
I would rather not, ever. But luckily, I had a Pell Grant, so hopefully that gets resolved.
Oh, well, you know how politics are. They're a long game in itself.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, like, just de-influencing, not buying anything. Like, or makeup products, because you see them all the time and you're like, "Oh,
Hmm.
that's pretty." But, like, I just learned how to do my eyeliner. I don't need everything under the sun, like, I need to pace myself. You know?
I do. I do. Look at you. Self-reserve, taking some reserve stuff.
Yeah.
Any other advice you want to give on this subject?
I don't know. Do you have any other questions?
Not particularly about this. I feel like you hit a whole bunch of things, like the main thing, like, hey, you don't need to, just because you see other people having that stuff doesn't mean you need to have it, especially if you don't have the financial means.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. But I think you hit the nail on the head because I don't think a lot of people are actually talking about it.
Nice. But also, mass consumption is getting wildly out of control. Like, that's another thing. You don't need new Christmas decorations every year.
That is true.
Like, my goodness, our planet, she's not built for that.
Yeah, well, there's some people who would think otherwise.
Like, good grief. Go to a thrift store. It's everywhere.
So I am going to have you future project two things. So what are you going to talk about next?
Oh, I don't know. Probably Rihanna.
Well, that was the other question. I was going to actually, by the time they listen to this, that performance will already be done. Future predicting. What do you think you're going to give her as a grade on our halftime show? A, B, C, D, F. Not rated.
Oh, I don't want to rate it, but like everything leading up to it has been really smart. Like all of her promotional stuff that she's been featuring and how she's been using all of her different brands to feature the Super Bowl has been genius.
Are you surprised that out of all the things, this is her first thing back in years? It's the Super Bowl?
No, it's a controlled environment. You know, like everything is planned to a T. Like there's only so much that you can do. It's not a worldwide like tour.
Mhm.
It's not a new album. Like it's controlled and she can do her greatest hits and maybe hopefully for the love of God release a new single or album or both. Truly. That would be great if you could do that.
Okay. Next time you hear Chelsea, she'll be talking about the halftime show.
Yeah, and
and
I
probably something else.
stand by my no one's talking during the halftime show.
Well, you really don't. You're not in any position of authority.
No. If you get up and move around, you're done. If you lose your seat, you lose your seat, man. If you go up to get chips and she starts singing, you eat chips in the kitchen. You're not coming back to the couch.
Listeners, we'll definitely let you know how that goes. I don't think that's going to go well because I just don't think Chelsea's in any position of power to really bully someone like that. So
I can bully people. I can bully.
That's probably not something you should probably say on an episode, especially when you talk about body positivity.
And I don't like bullies. Let me rephrase that. I can't say harass.
Oh man, we're gonna
terrorize. I can't say that.
You're gonna get your own segment canceled talking about harassing and bullying.
No, because Byron's he's gonna listen. He's not gonna talk. Patrick, he's the variable.
Well,
we're gonna have to kick him out.
First, you have to get to the Super Bowl, and you have to get to the place. Like once we get there, then you can figure that out. So
kicking people out.
We'll see. But with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Chelsea is back, and you already heard her. She is going to take the podcast by storm, and she's going to be in the top 10 once again, top 5, and maybe the number 1 this year. We're going to have to wait all the way to December to find out. Chelsea, any other words you would like to say before I close?
I wasn't prepared. Thank you. Have a great night. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.